Hello, welcome to the Root Break podcast with me and Dan. And we've got a lot to discuss. We've missed a week or two, so let's get straight on it. I think the first thing we have to discuss is Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
On why did she lose her title?
There's unfortunately we're now in the ground of Twitter and Dave Meltzer and PW Inside and dirt sheet bullshit. And the issue is we don't actually know. I mean, I've probably about 24, 48 hours after she'd lost the title, all I seen was she's pregnant. That's all I kept saying is that she was pregnant. Now, time will tell. I think for whatever it looks like, maybe she's going to be added to the main of the match.
There was it's weird because, like you said, that there was a lot of people saying that she was pregnant or she had some sort of injury, which is why she dropped the title.
Which would have made sense.
Yeah, which is fair enough. But there's a bit of a kibosh on that because she's currently wrestling on the European tour at the moment.
Well, there you go then. So she's clearly not pregnant.
So she can't be pregnant and she isn't illegitimately injured, though we've also seen rumours of her being added to the WrestleMania card, so it'd be like a triple threat. Bianca, Io.
Yeah, but they could have done that without taking the belt off her.
Yes.
And, like, I don't know, like, right, so here's my thinking, and it's stupid and it's bullshit if it is the way if she's not injured, then for me the only thing that makes sense is if she does get added and it is a triple threat, then obviously the thinking from creative and Triple H, and I think it's a mistake on their part if this is the way that they thought about it. But it's the only thing that to me makes any kind of even a slight modicum of sense is the fact that they've gone, look, we want Bianca to win the title at Mania. We think she hasn't had a big moment like that in a few years. She's hot at the minute off, a brilliant performance in Elimination Chamber, and we think that she deserves to have a big Mania moment where she wins the women's title at Mania. Now, if they've gone, but what about Io? Io also deserves something. Oh well, I know. Let's have Io take the belt off Rhea now to then drop it in like 4 weeks' time to Bianca. That they all get a bit of a moment with the belt. I don't know. If for me, if Rhea isn't injured or pregnant, then it makes no sense as to why she drops that belt. Because I mean, Io's fantastic, and I'm not taking anything away from Io. And if Rhea's legitimately injured, then I don't mind that. I don't mind the fact that they've given Io the belt. But if she's not injured, then it does beg the question that none of us wanted to see a triple threat. We wanted to see Rhea versus Bianca.
Yeah.
That was the match that we wanted. And I think it being a triple threat and Io in there, that will take away from how good the match would have been if it had just been one-on-one Rhea versus Bianca, because they're both tall, they're both powerful, they're both strong, they're both athletic. They've got different tools. I think Bianca's definitely like more athletic and can do more of the like athletic and a lot of the flips and stuff like that. But I do think stylistically they do have a lot in common as well. So why they would take the belt off her so that we then don't get that as a one-on-one match at Mania? I don't know. Like I said, when it happened, I was like, she's got to be injured or pregnant. That makes sense, but like you've just said, the fact she's wrestling on the European tour and it looks like she's being added to the Mania match and make it a triple threat, then it just doesn't make any sense. It just really doesn't.
What doesn't also make sense is all three of them are faces. None of them are heels.
No.
So if you stick them all in a triple threat match, it's a bit strange to me, anyway. Because we always like to have the heel versus the face. That's how it always works. But if they add her to it, then that would mean all three of them are faces. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't...
Yeah.
there's a long way still to go. I mean, we still, we're three and a half weeks out of WrestleMania still, so anything can really happen.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been wrestling on the European tour with. She's been facing Liv Morgan the last couple of nights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I've seen a picture that Liv put on her Twitter last night of ribs
of the marks that she was left. Yeah,
and with just a load of middle finger emojis and tag.
Yeah. So so I think the pregnancy thing gets blasted out the water because I also saw that as well. As soon as she must be pregnant, and then I also saw rumours of she might have some sort of injury. Well, clearly that's all BS as well because she wouldn't still be wrestling. But I just thought it was a bit strange that they took her title off, and also as well they've got this separate storyline, haven't they, with Bianca and Naomi, which once again I think they failed on because I think it would have been better if it was Bianca.
Yeah.
And I still think it might be. They sort of turned around and I thought it still might be because they said the footage showed. She said Cargill, all she said was she woke up and she saw Naomi running away. And then she thought, it might be Naomi. But I'm thinking, well, it could have been Bianca who done it. They were both together. They were doing it together. But then they had that whole segment on SmackDown, didn't they, where she said, it was me, I'll do it again. She's a bit, and I was like, they've just fucking blown it up. They could have twisted that a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that whole scenario is a bit weird anyway. I mean, do you really think that Cargill's going to lose to Naomi? Obviously, they're going to have a match at WrestleMania. That's obviously a certain.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I think what I would say is what took me by surprise was last week's Raw. Was it last week? Yeah, it was. Yeah, last week's Raw. The fact that at one point you have Io, Rhea, and Bianca all in the ring together, Bianca and Rhea arguing, and Io trying to just separate them. First, Rhea slaps her in the face and pushes her away, and then Bianca pushes her away by her face, and then Io snaps, doesn't she? And then bitch slaps both
out. Yeah.
But if you listen to the fans explode and go ape shit when Io attacks them both, and then when she's in the ring, basically saying, "Look, I'm the fucking champion here. Like, show me some respect." All you can hear is this deafening noise of the fans chanting "Io, Io, 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 Io." So, was it the right move, them taking the belt off Rhea and giving it to Io? Because if you look at the fans' reaction, they certainly seem to be hot on Io at the minute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's been a few last couple of weeks since we haven't done a podcast. There's been a few weird things. So we had LA Knight win back the US title. So he dropped it to Shinsuke.
Yeah.
He had it for 94 days. He had a few title defenses, and then LA Knight just wins it back.
I don't know what. Look, they did this with the Intercontinental title as well. Like since Mania last year, I've said this loads of times. They've shit the bed with almost every single title run since last year's Mania, because last year Sammy beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title at last year's Mania. Only a few weeks later, he drops the belt to Gunther. Gunther has it for a couple of months, doesn't really defend it. He then drops it to Jay. Jay has it for about 3 or 4 weeks and then drops it back to Braun.
Yeah.
So it was like, what's the point? And now they've done just an elongated version of that. Like, Logan Paul had the US title for over a year, never defended it. LA Knight gets his big moment at WrestleMania last year, beats Logan Paul, wins his first singles title in WWE. The fans are going mad. He then barely wrestles since winning the US title, drops it to Shinsuke, which was weird at the time. But then they just continued that trend of the US, whoever the US champion was, just not really seeing him and not defending it. And then they've after like 3 months, they've gone, actually, yeah, we're just going to give the title back to LA Knight now.
Yeah.
What? Like, they could have just kept the belt with LA Knight this whole time, or like, obviously they have got plans for Mania, but with them giving EO, and to be honest, with EO, them having EO beat Rhea, it was a shock. No one was expecting it on the Raw, so close to Mania. So they've obviously done that for the shock value. Whereas like LA Knight taking the belt back off Shinsuke, well, like, why not just do that at Mania? Like, because you've given LA Knight and EO big moments by them winning belts, but you've done it 4 weeks removed of Mania when you could have just done it at Mania and give them the big Mania moment.
Yeah, and then also as well, to top that off, this past Friday, the Street Profits won the tag titles.
Yeah.
And you kind of think, like, just like what you said, we've got WrestleMania. We've got the 2 nights, right? WrestleMania is not just, you've got 2 nights of WrestleMania. Why couldn't you just leave it till then?
Yeah, I know.
And that tag team title is sort of a bit like hot potato at the moment. So you've had DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY. Now we've had the Street Profits. The only 4 out of the 4 that haven't won it yet are Pretty Deadly, but everyone else has sort of had a little go with it.
Which means Pretty Deadly are probably winning it at Mania.
You know my stance on Pretty Deadly. I fucking love them. They're brilliant. I don't know whether it's just because they're British, but yes, mate.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boys.
But we had DIY. They then dropped it to Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu first.
Yes.
Then it was Motor City Machine Guns. Then back to DIY. Now to Street Profits. I don't know.
All in a very short space of time, a couple of months.
Yeah, that's in like 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like, that's the first time Street Profits been champions in 2 or 3 years, I think.
5 years, 2020, they last won a tag title.
Wow.
5 years. It's been a long time, isn't it?
It doesn't feel like it's been 5 years.
No. Yeah, the last time they won it was the pandemic era, 2020. So.
Oh, there you go.
It's a long time away. But so I just don't know what's going on with the title pictures at the moment.
I'm a bit sorry for DIY though, because in the last 4 months they've won the tag titles twice, not really been allowed to shine with them titles in terms of like who they've defended the titles against, so they've not really had much of a run with the belts, and then they've dropped them very, very quickly.
Yeah,
out really, but like I said, this is literally what WWE have done for the last 12 months. Like, every single title run has been messy, or hasn't made sense, or has been a bit stale and boring. That's so, and I think people only focus on Cody because he's the main champion. But if you look at Gunther's 12 months as Intercontinental Champion last year, incredible. What's he done since he won the World Heavyweight Championship?
This is another thing as well. He's not even been on the shows.
No.
And when he has shown up, they've put him against, he's not only that, he's the world's heavyweight champ. He should be either at the top of the bill, he should be on the main event, or near enough. What they've got him doing is coming out and facing people like Tajira.
Yeah.
And this week they had Axiom,
which was a great match, by the way. And
I'll tell you what, because they were in Spain, and I love the fact that he said "a kid," because obviously Axiom was a kid originally in NXT UK, and they fought before as well. But it's just like, really, I know it's Axiom, and I think they could have placed a better opponent for him, maybe even for him to get a win in Spain. But I just don't know what they're doing with Gunther. It's a bit weird.
Yeah,
it's like
Then you can say this for every single champion since last year's Mania. Every
Yeah.
single one of them. You can't name one champion that either won the belt at Mania last year or at some point between last year's Mania and this year's that you can say, oh, they've had an amazing title run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Look at. I mean, we say about this as well, don't we? You had Lara Valkyrie, the first Intercontinental Women's Champion, and then she's the first one eliminated from the Women's Royal Rumble. And then she loses another match, didn't she? A qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber, first round out. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and again, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's every single title over this last 12 months. Just it's like the spotlight's been on everyone that hasn't got a belt, and everyone that has got a belt is like the afterthought.
Yeah, like Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
But if you think at what wrestlers over the last 12 months have had, have been involved in really massive moments, massive storylines. Cody has, granted.
Kevin Owens.
But I'm saying Cody's probably the only one that has a belt that you can put that argument. But
yeah,
the ones that have had, if you say who's had the best 12 months, it's Kevin Owens, it's Drew McIntyre, it's CM Punk, it's Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
it's people that haven't got a belt.
Title, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with it all. It just seems, and we're really close to WrestleMania. Like I was saying, some of those matches, like Shinsuke and LA Knight, they could have saved that to Mania.
Yeah, and I think they should definitely have saved the DIY versus Street Profits for Mania, because that's like the talent of them four. That's a Mania worthy tag team match, because going into Mania, what tag team matches have we got on that card of Mania that you think, oh wow, that looks amazing?
Yeah, I don't know. The Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn for the tag titles, that was a good one.
No. I mean, going into this year's Mania.
Oh, yeah. Well, the only
tag match.
The only four. We've only got 4 concrete matches for WrestleMania this year already. So we've got obviously the world title, WWE title, and then the women's WWE title and the women's world title. They're the only ones that have been announced so far. There is lots of rumours that we're going to have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, and then the winner of that match being added to the John Cena and Cody Rhodes match.
That'll be interesting.
Because of Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
So there is rumours of that happening as well. So I don't know. I think that should be left on its own, really. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about the whole Roman Reigns thing and what happened on last year's Raw, on last week's Raw. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, look, obviously, he's a massive name, he's a massive star. He's been, the guy in the company for years. Obviously, this last 12 months, Cody's definitely solidified himself as, the new face of the company. But I think Roman Reigns is still a massive player in WWE. Any show he's on is automatically better with his presence on it. But this guy's main evented like 4 Manias in a row. He's main evented 5 or 6 out of the last 7 WrestleManias. He main evented both nights last year, night 1 and night 2. He main evented. Why does he have to? Why does he have to be shoehorned into a story that he has no business being in? Now, yes, okay, with the whole Paul Heyman thing, because Paul Heyman owes CM Punk a favour. Paul Heyman's currently Roman's manager. Is Paul going to stay with Roman? Is he going to go back to Punk? What's going to happen there? I do understand that bit, but for me, that takes away from the storyline that we've wanted between Seth and CM Punk. CM Punk has wanted to main event WrestleMania since he was a kid. he was always denied that main event under Vince in his first run, and now there's how bad that rivalry is and how much they hate each other, whether it's true or not, whether it's kayfabe, who knows, but how great that rivalry is between Seth and Punk. The fact that that's the storyline we've been wanting and clamoring for and waiting for since the day CM Punk returned is, oh my God, him and Seth is going to be incredible. The fact that they've gone, yeah, but just to get Roman on the card, we're going to shoehorn him into a story that he has no business being involved in, which takes away from the hard work that especially CM Punk has put into over this last 12 months, that he's earned that main event. And it's like, what, he main events another WrestleMania? Like, has he not already had his moment? Like, why not give other people a chance to main event WrestleMania? It's like, oh, no, that Roman has to be in the main event as well. Well, no, he doesn't. You know, it's like, if you think of the biggest names, from WrestleMania, obviously, people will always like kind of mention Shawn Michaels because obviously he's Mr. WrestleMania. But most people's number one thing, if you say, what's the one wrestler you think of when you think of Mania? You think Undertaker because of his streak.
Yeah.
So he at one point he was 21-0, 21 years in a row. He won at Mania. How many of those matches were main events? Not fucking many.
Yeah. If that, a lot of them were
one, maybe out of 21.
Yeah.
Almost none of them were main event matches. So why does Roman Reigns have to be in the main event every single fucking year? Like, I get, what he's done and everything, but at the same, like, he had the belt for 3.5 years. Like, he's dropped it now. Cody's now obviously taking his place and as being the face of the company. Cody versus Cena, main event of night 2. That obviously, yes, that makes sense. But I disagree with them shoehorning Roman into Seth and Punk's storyline. Just like main event's better with Roman on it. But if you and people say, oh well, yeah, but you can't just give Roman a random opponent at Mania. Well, why not? Because Drew McIntyre's probably busted his ass more than any other wrestler over the last 12 months, and they've literally done that to him by going, yeah, it's you versus Damian Priest at Mania.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have someone like Drew McIntyre who couldn't have done any more for the company this last year, and his reward for that at this year's Mania is just a random match against Damian Priest that no one gives a shit about, then why can't you do that to Roman Reigns, who's barely been here for the last 12 months?
Yeah.
Like, I just, like, he doesn't even have to have a match. Like, he can just be there and, he could get involved in the Jacob Fatu solo sculler match.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? But it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth that it's like, oh, well, Roman has to be a part of Mania. So because of that, he has to be in a Mania. So we're just going to stick him in the match between two people that have, whether it's real or fake, have hated each other for a decade. And we've been waiting for this match for a decade.
Yeah.
And Punk finally gets his main event of Mania. Oh yeah, but Roman's
we've got to have Roman there. Yeah.
It's bullshit. I think a lot of the decisions that have been made this last 12 months have been shitty and have been wrong, and they haven't taken care of the people who have been giving blood, sweat, and tears more than anyone else. Like if you think about the matches and the storylines that have happened this year, it's either Punk, Owens, or Drew that have really put the bodies on the line the most and really given, more than anyone. And yet, at every single turn, Punk obviously lost the Rumble, lost Buddy Elimination Chamber, blah 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 blah. But what have Owens and McIntyre got for the incredible work they've done this last 12 months? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yet Roman Reigns has barely been there for a year, and it's, main event. Like, I get that this is Cena's last year, but Cena's barely been there in a wrestling capacity for 4 or 5 years now. And yet, all of a sudden, I get it's his last year. I understand that. I'm not taking anything away from what he's done. It's his last ever WrestleMania, so I don't mind him being in the main event of night 2 because of what he's
what he's achieved and done. Yeah.
But is that fair on everyone else that he can miss 5 years and every time we see him wrestle now, we kind of go, fucking hell, he's not what he was 10, 15 years ago. Yet he's now going to be in the main event of Mania against Cody. And it's like, well, why have Drew and Owens given everything this last 12 months to have nothing?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, where's Sammy going? I mean, there's a lot of people that you kind of think should be on WrestleMania, and you kind of think, where the fuck are they gonna slot in?
Yeah.
You got Sami Zayn as well, who's just pottering around. Yeah, I'm almost certain it's going to be some gimmick match between Priest and Drew.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is rumours of Jacob versus Solo. That'll be an interesting one. But yeah, it's just like you're saying, they've gone, oh shit, we need Roman in this match just because it's almost like we don't trust you to put on a banger, so we'll shoehorn Roman in there to sort of build it up, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah, this last couple of months since it's sort of gone on to the Netflix, it's sort of some of the decisions have been weird.
Like, yeah, but be more creative. Like, because I've just had an idea in my head, right? Why not? Main event of night one is Punk versus Seth, flat out, just them two, right? Heyman owes Punk a favour, so as Mania's starting, he's backstage, Punk's in his locker room, getting himself sorted, and he turns around to Heyman, don't forget you owe me a favour. So whoever wins tonight's main event between, me and Seth is in the main event of night two with Cena and Cody. Heyman helps Punk win that match against Seth. So then Roman comes out because he's pissed off. Like, Heyman, what the fuck are you doing? And then Heyman turns on Roman and joins Punk. You can still have Roman involved and that's how night one ends. You can still have Roman involved in a really big moment in WrestleMania without shoehorning him in a match in a rivalry that he has no fucking business being a part of. Like,
well, they sort of did that on Raw, didn't they? Where he beat the hell out of Seth and then looked in the ring and was like, why is he talking to my wise man? And then just sort of gets in the ring and he looks at him and he's like, fuck off, Heyman, Jesus. And then he throws him and then spears him, doesn't he? And Heyman's like that in the corner, my tribal chief, like this. So it's sort of done all that. So, yeah, I just don't know. It's just, I don't know whether they're just keeping everyone on their seats and they're not going to tell or make any big plans for WrestleMania until, the night before, I think.
I feel like the 12 months has been very, very messy and been very scattergun approach and just, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I feel like Mania is going to be very, very similar. I think Mania is going to be very, very, kind of not as good as last year's Mania, I don't think. I mean, Elimination Chamber was a very, very good pay-per-view. Every match on it was absolutely fantastic. A lot of really good spots. Seth obviously costing Punk in that match. Just deepens their rivalry. Was good. Jade obviously coming out and attacking Naomi. Really good. Obviously the John Cena turn. But apart from that, this year, what kind of forward planning and real, it's like, apparently when the WWE went to Netflix, the guy that owns Netflix was saying that they want Bron Breakker to be one of the faces of the Netflix era because they can see how much talent and potential he's got. And we know that backstage, Heyman's been working with Bron a lot to try and help him improve his promos and stuff, which will be fantastic for him. But he's been apart from him dropping the belt to Jay, he's been Intercontinental Champion for the majority of this year.
Yeah.
What have they done with him?
Well, this is what I mean. What have they done with any of them that have been, like you're saying, with champion? What have they done with the War Raiders once they won the tag titles? And
I haven't seen them.
They did have a few defenses, but they've not even.
Well,
I think the problem is you've got these champions not even featured on your show.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? They could have done a singles match with one of them, or just a tag match like they do all the time. And it's like you don't even have a backstage segment. They're just not on the show at all.
No,
And the thing that really annoys me is that Raw's champion is Gunther, and it's like last Monday he wasn't even on the show, and they're like, but he's the fucking he's your world heavyweight champion, he's the top guy,
he wasn't on,
and he's not even on the bloody show.
He wasn't on the Netflix debut.
No.
So Raw's Netflix debut and Raw's champion isn't on it.
No, he appeared on Smack, which I said to Kirsty, actually, I said to the girls, I went, why the hell is he on SmackDown this week?
Because
and they went, well, my wife said, well, because of Jay. And I said, Jay's on Raw as well. There's no need for him to be there. It's not his show. I thought we had this split where he would stay on Raw and we would have the Smack. I was like, I don't know why he's on SmackDown. And then obviously they brought out Axiom, and I was like, okay, so maybe that's why he's there. But then, like my wife said, he was like, oh, he's come up to talk about Jay. But Jay's on Raw as well. They both got drafted to Raw.
Yeah.
So you got the Raw champion on SmackDown who doesn't even appear on Raw. It's like, he's the fucking champion.
Yeah. This last 12 months has felt very, very messy. It's like there's no plan to anything.
The one person they haven't dropped the ball on, I would say, is Chelsea Green.
Yeah, but
she's been fucking killing it. She's been having her matches, her tag match, title matches. She's had, I think, since becoming US champion, she's had more title defenses than Braun Breaker.
To be fair, I get what you're saying. They've allowed her to have matches and defend a title, but you can't really drop the ball on Chelsea Green because all you've got to do is let her go out there and do her gimmick, and it's always going to be a success. But that's not something WWE have done well. That's Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's Chelsea and her ability. Okay, there's clearly been a lot of forward planning, a lot of deep thinking, and a lot of really long storytelling planned with Rock, Cena, Cody thing. Obviously, him holding thing, him doing that like fucking 5-6 months ago, and obviously Cena, that his career always comes out doing that.
Yeah.
All these signs. So they have done, but again, it's like it's only the really big things like Rock, Cena, and Cody. That's worthy of some really deep thinking. Everything else, fuck it. It's just the scattergun approach. Whatever happens. Whatever it has. It's like we've already said. Like Braun. I bet Braun has been Intercontinental Champion for 9 to 10 months of the last 12 months, and he barely wrestles. He's barely there. He defends the title probably once every 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Like it's just like, and then obviously he's done the same thing with LA Knight. Like Shinsuke did absolutely fuck all with that title. So why not just keep out with LA Knight? It doesn't make any sense. And this is decision after decision after. It's like I don't know. It's. And then I try and tune in and watch a couple of shows of AEW because I don't watch it every week, and that's even worse than it was a couple of years ago when I stopped watching it back then because it was shit.
It's gotten bad. Braun Breaker defeated Jay on the 21st of October.
Yeah.
So that's how long he's had the title for.
Yeah.
Since the 21st of October.
Yeah, but he initially won the belt off Sammy.
Yes.
So this is what I'm saying. Sammy won it in April last year. He had it dropped it to Braun.
Hang on. I'm going to see the reigns, see what comes up because. Yeah, Braun Breaker. Yeah. Like you're saying. It's his second title run as Intercontinental Champion. But since October, so. October, November, December, January, February, March.
Yeah, but that's only since he beat Jay. How long had he had it after he beat Sammy and before he dropped it to Jay?
I don't know. I'll have to find that out. I'm trying to get the information.
I'm like...
Yeah.
Sammy won the belt at last year's Mania. He had it for 3, 4, 5 weeks. He then drops it to Braun. Right?
Yeah.
So Braun had won it in late May sometime.
Yeah.
Right. So Bron won it in late May. He then lost it in September to Jay. He then won it back in October off Jay and has had it since. So he's had it for probably 10 months of the last 12 months, and yet we haven't seen him. And he's the Intercontinental Champion. You know, and we know that it isn't a knock on the talent, and we know that it's not like that these people aren't good champions, because, in my opinion, Gunther's reign is when Gunther was Intercontinental Champion, his reign felt like a World Heavyweight title reign. That's how impressive it was, and the caliber of people that he was beating week in, week out for the Intercontinental title, it felt more like a world title reign. That's how impressive and dominant that reign was. To then give him the World Heavyweight title and then go, yeah, we're not interested in seeing you now.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
So here we go. I've got it here. I've got the info here. So Sammy obviously beat Gunther. August. April until August, Sammy held it till. August the 3rd, and then Braun had it until September 23rd. And then Jay had it from September to October, and then back to Braun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, August, he had it, August, September. So he only had it a month and a bit.
Again, though, like, my point is, it's still
51 days.
It's still messy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it still doesn't make any sense of what they're actually trying to do.
Yeah. And it is, like you're saying, it's all just been a bit of it's a bit all over the place with all the titles at the moment. I still don't know why Cody has the WWE title. He's had some good matches, I get that, but I don't know why he's held it for a year. I don't know whether they're just saying, "Oh, we'll let him hold it for a year because Roman had it for so long." And
you know what doesn't make any sense? You know what doesn't make any sense to me, right? So, give me your opinion on this, right?
Yeah.
3.5 years Roman had that belt, right? And so many people were complaining the fact that he weren't there every week. But he defended most pay-per-views, and they were always brilliant matches. We've actually seen the opposite from Cody.
Yeah.
Cody's been there every single week. He's been pulling double duty. He's been on Raw and SmackDown a lot over the last 12 months. So he's not just been there every week. He's been there twice a week some weeks, right? And yet, and this isn't his fault, yet he's barely defended that title. So he defended it, twice against Solo, twice against AJ Styles, and once against Owens. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I believe so. I can find that out as well.
So that's five. So that's 5 title defenses in 12 months, and yet he's been there every week.
Yes. Yeah. He's just.
Shocking.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, there you go. So is that what? So is that 5 title defenses in 12 months?
Yeah.
And this isn't Cody Rhodes' fault. This is Triple H and the creative team's fault. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm wondering whether, because before it was him, before he won the title, it was sort of like he needed that sort of legitimacy, I suppose. He was always trying to get it. Then he lost the first Mania, so his sort of, he wanted to finish the story still. So his whole year after losing at Mania was for him to try and win it again. And then now he's won it, they've kind of gone, right, he's finished his story, sort of. And now what? And I honestly believe if Cena does win the title, which I'm probably almost certainly will. So Cena wins the title. And I'll bet you Cody disappears for a couple of months. I bet we don't see him.
Maybe.
And I bet if he does stick around, I bet a lot of people will be like, they'll go off him, or I think they need to turn him heel. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a weird thing.
Another thing that I wanted to mention before it slips my mind, because I know we've not got too long left, probably another 15, 20 minutes or so. But I do want to mention SmackDown just gone. I mean, very obviously, the first little sneak peek teaser that we've seen was definitely Rey Fénix.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a very good idea. A lot of people have been complaining, going, "Whoa, hang on a minute! Like, why are they advertising him on SmackDown?" Like, but Penta's on Raw. I assumed that they were going to reunite the Lucha Bros. What I think has happened is I think Penta has impressed that much as a solo star that they've gone, I think we're actually going to damage him and take something away from what he's doing at the minute by his little brother debuts, and it's right, just is now a tag team. And I think they're going to give Ray the same opportunity that they've given to Penta by putting him on a different brand, put him on SmackDown, and see what he can do on his own as a solo. And I think a lot of people that haven't seen much of Rey Fénix are in for a shock, because I know a lot of people are going, wow, people that have never watched AEW or have never seen Lucha Bros wrestle before have been so impressed with Penta that I think when they see Rey Fénix, I think the little heads are going to fall off, because Penta's incredible, but Rey's even better. Rey Fénix is even better. So I think it's good that, keep Penta on Raw, let him carry on doing what he's doing, give Rey Fénix a chance to do what he can do, and then way later down the line you can give it 6 months, and then you can reunite them.
Penta. Yeah, like you were saying, he's been like awesome.
Yeah.
And then we got Ray. Yeah, there was two. It was weird. This week on SmackDown, there was two.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah, two vignettes shown. Firstly, the first one was clearly Rey Fénix, right?
Yeah.
But the second one, it just come up with a number 4, and you heard footsteps.
Yeah, it's Aleister Black.
Loads of people have been. Yeah, it's always on. Loads of people going, Aleister Black.
Look, it's not even if you look at a lot of the vignettes that he was doing before he left WWE, when he was just starting to reinvent this completely different character, where he was talking about, the sins of the father, and but every single time he was in a dark room with smoke around him. And that was literally what that vignette was. I don't know what the number 4 means. I mean, I've seen people are just like losing their minds now. They're going, oh, well, Rock's been holding up 3, and now we've seen the number 4, so that means that Aleister Black's going to be joining the Rock. I mean,
I don't know whether that would be 4 days, because if it was 4 days, it would be Monday.
It could be 4 days, it could be 4 weeks. Look, what I think is going to happen is I think next week's SmackDown we'll see it again. It'll say 3, and then the week after it'll say 2, and the week after it'll say 1. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think if you look, take the number 4 out of it. The 4, I think the 4 symbolises weeks, but regardless of what the number 4 means, just the whole look, it's clearly a dark room. There's footsteps of someone entering, and the smoke on the screen. That was almost every backstage vignette and segment that he did on NXT. And then the character that he was trying to create, this kind of like dark, mythical Godfather type. It almost like, it's very similar to what Karrion Kross is like trying to do, like with like poison people's ears and turn people heel, and he's like the master manipulator of it all. That was definitely I mean, to be honest, I think everyone was disappointed in the way Vince and the rest of WWE treated Aleister Black when they brought him up to the main roster. They didn't give him much, and then Aleister Black is an absolute genius. So he obviously then ended up just coming up with a completely different character, and it just started really hitting and getting over him. He'd only done it like 3, 4, 5 weeks, and every week we were just seeing a different kind of 60-second vignette of him talking about this dark and and people starting to go, this is getting really interesting now. I'm looking forward to seeing what Aleister Black's going to do with this. And then WWE have released Aleister Black, wish him luck with his future endeavours. And we were like, what the fuck?
He had that really unique entrance as well, where he come up like the coffin style.
Yeah. The whole
it'd be interesting to see what they do with him coming back. Like you were saying, he's a little bit like Karrion Kross, and he's another guy that they've sort of they brought back because they dropped the ball on him massively, and then they sort of don't know what they've done with him since. Have they sort of dropped the ball on him again?
Yeah.
They wanted to do, what was it, the Final Testament?
Yeah.
And they brought in AOP and, Paul Ellery.
Yeah.
And once again, they've done nothing with them and just released them again.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you look at Karrion Kross's socials, he's doing a lot of really interesting stuff on there. Hopefully, we get to see some kind of payoff for him.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think if Aleister Black does kind of come back and, like, I wouldn't even mind them kind of sticking him in a bit of a group with Karrion Kross. Both of them are very, very similar. And yeah, I mean, Karrion Kross is a better wrestler than people give him credit for, but he's a lot better at the gimmick stuff and the promo stuff than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
I just unfortunately for Karrion, I think Aleister Black is better than him at everything. So Karrion Kross does have things that he's good at, but he's not as good at the gimmick stuff as Aleister.
They've never been able to. I mean, when he was on NXT first, Karrion Kross, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And then they dropped the ball on him, and they've never been able to reclaim it.
Yeah, but again, I think you just need to go back. Just have him doing that character again. Like they've done it with LA Knight.
Yeah.
They've let LA Knight just go back to NXT version of LA Knight and look what's happened there. They never quite let Baron Corbin go back to his Lone Wolf version, and that kind of hurt him and cost him. I think if you look, because Karrion Kross's NXT character, it wasn't like dark and like Aleister Black style, like more towards what Karrion's been doing more recently. It was basically, if you've seen the film 300, he was Gerard Butler in 300. He was just a fucking Spartan who he looked cool as fuck. He arrived in a really expensive car, convertible, top down, leather jacket.
It was great when Scarlett used to come out and put the time up.
Yeah, but as I was saying, if you just looked at him and his look, he looked very, very cool. He had a very cool look about him. He wore nice shirts. He usually wore nice jeans, nice shoes, and a really expensive looking leather jacket. He'd arrive in a really expensive car, beautiful Scarlett alongside him. And when he wasn't wrestling, his next target, instead of basically, it's kind of like a very quieter way of Bill Goldberg saying, you're next. Scarlett had just come out and she'd put the sand timer in the ring and she'd turn it and then she'd walk off. And that was, you're fucked, mate. And everyone that watched NXT was going, oh, shit. Because whoever they fed Karrion to, he just battered everybody. Just go back to that character. It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. All that time and energy they put into him, and Keith Lee as well. And there was loads of other ones. And then it was obviously Vince's idea to do what he did, but it just destroyed his character. And in doing so, it's just upset the balance, and no one's ever really got behind him since. It's a shame because he's a good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, look, like if you look at how he debuted on NXT, and people that watched NXT will realise the gravity of what I'm about to say. His debut match on NXT was beating Tommaso Ciampa in about 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, that isn't the main roster version of Tommaso Ciampa, so people that have never seen NXT realise that NXT's version of Tommaso Ciampa was an absolute superstar. He was one of the top dogs in NXT at that time. He then, I believe, he won the NXT title for the first time by beating Finn Balor. He then dropped it to Samoa Joe. I think he then beat Samoa Joe to get the belt back off him. If you look at the names that he beat in that NXT, and not like I always go back to my favorite segment of Karrion Kross was when he was in a pissed off mood because he just dropped the belt to Samoa Joe, just wanted to kill everyone, and then the camera goes backstage. There's a locker room just full of NXT wrestlers just stood in. They're in catering or whatever, having a chat, eating food. Karrion Kross enters the room, turns the fucking light switch off. There's about 15 of them in there.
They're all gone. They're all down.
They're all banging and screaming and smashing. And then 30 seconds later, light comes on. Karrion Kross's white shirt's full of blood and ripped. And then the camera pans down. There's just 15 bodies lay around his feet. Destroyed everybody. Like, that character was amazing.
Yeah.
And then they brought him up to the main roster, and Vince was like, "Oh, go wear this helmet and look like a dick."
Yeah, wear this outfit and this helmet. It's like, fair to him, he just went, "Okay, I'll do that." But yeah, he must have been feeling this ain't connecting with the crowd. They did the same thing with Keith Lee as well. Do you remember? They brought him up, and they just didn't keep the same energy. Didn't they call him Bear or something? Bear Keith Lee or something like that?
Yeah, so it was something like that. It was really weird.
Yeah, it's just that was a weird time. And we're sort of, like we're saying now, we're sort of getting to that time again where it's just they've just dropped the ball on all the champions. It's like, I don't know how you can do that. You know what I mean? I don't know whether they're just giving the titles to people they think that need them, and then just sort of going, right, now they've got the title. Now what?
Yeah.
You know? But it'd be interesting to see where they go. WrestleMania, I would imagine over the next 3 Raws, SmackDowns, we're going to start getting, hopefully, some WrestleMania matches lined up.
Yeah,
because they're going to have to start building it. You know, it's 2 nights. It's not. This isn't a single night.
I kind of want to call something as well. I make a bit of a prediction. I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be dog shit. I think that match is going to flop so badly because Charlotte has had 2 serious injuries back to back. You know, it's not just one serious injury back from it. She had a serious injury where she missed a year. She'd been back about 3 or 4 weeks, and then she did her ACL.
Yeah.
And then missed another year. So she's basically missed 2 years, and you can see she's slowed down. She doesn't look as confident. She's very hesitant in a lot of the things that she's doing now, which makes sense. She's probably scared of getting hurt again. She's not the Charlotte Flair that she was 3-4 years ago.
No.
And I've said it since the day that they brought her up. Tiffany Stratton isn't ready. She has a nice little catchphrase. Everyone enjoys going Tiffy time. Everyone enjoys that. And right? She has a very impressive looking finisher. Her moonsault is very, very, very pretty on the eye. It's a very, very good moonsault. Doesn't really look as good, you know, when you then see Jacob Fatty, who's about 18.5 stone, doing the same moonsault. Doesn't really.
Or Ivar and those guys doing it as well.
But if you look at, like, she's not ready. She's too young. If you look at her actual in-ring moveset, there's not really an awful lot there. She's not figured out what her overall game is. She's not figured out exactly what she wants to do in the ring.
I think if she wins, I think that would help her. But like you said, I think it's going to be one of those best title matches.
That won't be a good match, because, like I said, Charlotte has lost. I think Charlotte has lost quite a lot of confidence. Her ability's still there. She's never going to lose that. She's an incredible athlete. She's a fantastic player, and she's always going to have that. But Tiffy can't talk on the mic, and she's athletic, and she's definitely got talent. But she's very raw. She's very inexperienced, and I think a big title match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, it'll either make her or it could absolutely shatter her. But the actual quality of the match, I don't think is going to be very good at all. And I can't really see Tiffany beating her.
We'll see how that goes. But I think out of the 4 matches announced so far, I think that's the weakest.
Yeah.
But you could be right. I've got a funny feeling, like you said, I've got a funny feeling the main event of night 1 will be Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, triple threat match. Yeah. And then you kind of go, okay, so where do you now place the Gunther match?
That'll open. I think Gunther Jay opens and Jay wins the belt.
Do you reckon? Is it gonna? Are we gonna see like a Daniel Bryan Sheamus style title defense thing?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Where he sort of prances around. Look, he's gonna go. Look, like he's gonna hit a frog splash, bang over.
No, I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be a good lengthy match. But I think they'll want to open WrestleMania with a bang. It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so, like, Vegas surely has to be the best well-known fucking party town in the world.
Yeah.
People that want to party go to Vegas, right? So what better way of getting that party vibe going than having however many thousand people yeeting because Jay's won the belt? Like that.
Well, look at Daniel Bryan. When he won it, everyone was going, yes, weren't they? And he won it within, what was it, 30 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think
No.
it will be a good wrestling match, but I can't. That's how I would open Mania personally. Then you're kind of setting the precedent for that kind of party feel. It's a party town. Get all the partying because and Jay's entrance, his music, the lighting, everyone eating. That is a party, So that to me, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know whether they're going to do the whole. I've seen the rumors as well that Punk's going to use his favor with Heyman to whoever wins the main event of night one enters the main event of night two.
Yeah.
And like you kind of did a variation of that last year, where you're going to have one person again that's in both nights' main event.
Yeah.
Like I personally, I don't like it because you've got a lot of wrestlers that have worked their ass off all year round that all deserve their moment, that all deserve their Mania moments, and then if they've got a Mania main event, then it should be the main event of night one and night two should be involving completely separate wrestlers.
Yeah. I personally, I don't want anyone added to that match. I think it should be just, Seth. It should be John Cena and Cody. I don't think it doesn't need anybody else.
No,
considering what happened at the end of Elimination Chamber, it just needs to be them two.
Well, they're going to be in the same ring, aren't they? Next SmackDown, so
yes. Is it Monday or is it on SmackDown? Because I know
the SmackDown. I think
Roman. They said I know Heyman said Roman's going to be there.
Maybe it's this Raw then. Maybe it's
because I think he said, and then CM Punk said, "Well, I'm going to be on SmackDown next week, so I'm going to answer Roman Reigns. I need an answer on why he attacked me." Well, so I don't know. We have to see what happens, but I think it should be left. I'm wondering whether they go, okay, so whoever wins that triple threat match faces the winner at Backlash, the following pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Unless they do that, I don't know. But I always feel, like you were saying, they've done that before where they added someone else. I think they should leave it to them two to have it out, Cena and Cody.
Yeah.
But I'm almost certain if Cody loses, he will disappear. We won't see him. I don't think like forever. It'll definitely be a couple of months, I would imagine, before he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he probably could do with having a few weeks off and rest and recover and spend some time with his wife and daughter. So,
yeah, it's all building up, isn't it? It's all sort of, but yeah, like the whole picture at the moment's just a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's all sort of,
yeah, but it has been a mess for the last 12 months, hasn't it? But yeah.
Anyway, I think we should leave it there, and we'll pick it up next week after we've had Raw and SmackDown, which are both in Europe, so we get to see them live.
Yeah.
For the next 3 or 4 weeks. So lovely.
Yeah, I mean, should we just kind of kidnap Triple H and force him to have it in Europe every week, just so we can watch it live?
Piss off the Americans. That's
or just say to them, not like you're going live at 7 or 8 p.m. every week.
Every just forever.
Wherever it is, you're going live at a time where us in the UK, even 10 p.m. UK time.
That's it. Yeah,
You know,
I think so. I'll be up for that. Should we go and get it?
Yeah, like
Firstly, we'll give him a slap and say, "What the fuck are you doing with these titles?" I mean, Jesus Christ, Dan.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wonder. How does it work? So if it is like the Aleister Black thing, if it is 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's going to be every week, would that make it add up where it'd be the Raw after Mania or SmackDown?
It would be the Raw. It would if they do it just on SmackDown, it would be the SmackDown after Mania. If it's not, it'll be the Raw. I don't know whether they'll play the same one. We'll have to see tonight when we have Raw. We'll have to see how they play that.
I mean, it's definitely Aleister Black. That it's.
Do you reckon?
It is what he was doing in WWE last time. A black with a load of smoke in it. It's very Aleister Blacky, that.
Well, we'll have to see what happens with that. But anyway, as always, look, Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, always is.
And we'll do it next week as well, because I think we need to keep it constant coming up to WrestleMania. There's loads to talk about. We still don't know half the card. We don't know how many matches are going to be on, or anything like that. What's going on? So it's a bit of a sort of a roller coaster at the moment. But we'll pick this up next week as normal. I've been Kev. Thank you for watching.
I've been Dan. Guys.
And obviously we'll see you next time, same place, same time. So catch you later, guys. See you later.
Tune into the channel. Nexus is the name. All the hottest content. You'll never be the same. Laughs and thrills, excitement.